Welcome to my cider farm. I'm Trevor Ham, the cider man. I hope you enjoy this short talk that I give to you on the do's and don'ts of how to make cider. These are my apple trees. There's several different varieties: cider apples, Eton apples, and cooking apples. There's like Dabinet, Kingston Black, Browns, Ashton Bitter, Tremlett's Bitter, and Ari Masters. I get some from other orchards as well. Once they start falling off, I pick them up, put them into another area for sweating. Sweating is to soften the apple, and then once they sweat, it builds the sugar up. More sugar, more alcohol. More alcohol, then your legs go wobblier quicker. So once you've got them all sweat, you put them to wash the dirt that's on the apples. Then once that's done, then you get them to the shredder. The base of the apple tree, I get out all the weed, scuff it up, and then going up our drive, there's all the peat, all the rotten down leaves. We put that round the base of the apple tree, so that feeds the apple tree organically. And then I've got several sheep, and round the tail end of the sheep, when you shear them, it's really mucky. That can go in with the fleeces when you sew your wool. So you get this big pile of wool that is brought out here, is put right around the base of the apple tree. So then that washes down through into the soil and feeds the apple tree organically. This is the cider room. This is where the brewing goes ahead. So you put your apples in through the top, and then they come out through the bottom. So they go into the bucket. Then they go into half an IBC. An IBC is a plastic container. These are IBC containers, the old 1,000 litres of cider. It's like if you have an apple, you cut the apple in half. That half, the surface is going brown. So with it going into the IBC first, that's called maceration. It's it's oxidizing, and it lets the pulp go a darker colour. This here is a double press that I designed. In this, I put the first slats down, the frame, the cloth, build up the first cake, and then build that up maybe 8 to 10 cakes high to make one cheese. You've got to make sure it's going up square. On top of that, you put the format, and then on this one there's two 20-ton jacks, and then you start jacking those manually, and it's all peace and quiet, environmentally quiet, and you do it very slowly. And then as that is pumping down, the juice comes out into a small barrel. Now you build your next cake, next 10 lots of cakes to make the next cheese. So that one is pressing down, you're building this one up, the juice is flowing, and the production is up by double. Instead of having a single press, you've got a double press. You can get like a turntable press. You can also use a hydro press or a belt press, but they're more expensive. I'm one for mend and make do and recycle. Like this one, there's the RSJs. They came out of an old building. The vertical come from a scrapyard. The angle iron, same place. Tubular par, same. And then underneath there was 5 railway sleepers which are cut in half. This here is the new stuff that I bought, and this here my friend was going to throw it out, so I claimed it to stop. I hate throwing things out. Mend and make do. So out of 50 kilos of apple pulp, I get from anything from 28 to 32 litres of apple juice. So then the apple juice is in another one of these buckets from the press. Then it's brought from outside, brought in, and then into these 200 litre barrels, and then pour in. And then once you've got them filled, like as you can see, this one, and it's 5 months, is still fermenting quite a lot. So that allows air out but no air back in, because if air gets back into your barrel, a cider fly will turn it to vinegar. This one here, he was made before this one, and the sugar content, I would say, in this one is lower, and it has finished fermenting, or it has slowed down more. So now within the next 2 to 3 weeks I'll be racking that off. Racking off is moving it from that container into a clean container, and then at the bottom there'll be at least that amount of lees. Lees is the sediment. When we'd eat the food, we'd go to the toilet. So their toilet is the sediment at the bottom, the lees. So then those lees are left at the bottom of the container. They're disposed of. Then you sterilise that barrel. When it's gone from that stage where it's working well, like on this one, it's really slowed down now. That can be racked off now into a clean container, sterilised, and then after 2 to 3 months you do the second racking, and then it's getting to the stage then when it's finished fermenting. From that stage then, when you've done your second racking, then put this type of cork in and check it after 2 to 3 hours or more, because you don't want that to blow out and then the cider vinegar fly goes in your cider and ruin it. And also if air is getting in, the air would ruin the cider. With my cider, I keep everything as simple and as organic as possible. When you've got several barrels like these which have finished fermenting, then you've got it ready for selling, then you can move them from those into these kind of tanks, which are flotation tanks. This is a little pump which you just relieve pressure and then pump it up, and inside this tank there's a stainless steel lid of that shape, a round top, and round that round top there's a balloon like a tube of a tire. So this pump pumps the tube up, so like as it was that full, then you take your cider out and then you're down to say that level. There's that much gap, so instead of putting in CO2 to give it less oxygen, you just lower the top, blow the tire up again, and then you haven't got the worry of it turning to vinegar. This one is the higher alcohol content. These are 7.2. That one, Ashton Bitter, these are 5.9. So I blend those two together to get an average of like 6.5. You've got to keep it below 8%, because when it's above 8% it's registered or classified as a wine, and then you've got to pay an extra duty on it. Put this up here with a struggle. It's about 25 litres, then it's all bottled up ready for everybody to enjoy. Right, I'm now racking off this cider, and then you're ciphering into your measuring bucket. Start panicking, you think, well, will it all fit? And this is then poured into the bag. Yeah, just an M for medium. Yeah.
And then here percentage, I put it on the front 6 points.
6.2.
6.2.
That will be the alcohol. Yeah, so that's a medium. Medium is not really sweet and not really dry. A medium is in between the two. So when you have them really dry, as some people go, ugh, that's the really dry. And then the really sweet ones are, oh, some sweet, and I like the medium.
Sure, thank you.
I'll right back.
That's good. Good stuff, Trevor.
This is my cider room 1. This is where I sell all my cider from. So this is the some of the pictures when different cider buyers come here because they ask how cider is made. So these are my apple trees, well, one of them. So then from the apple tree, that's the sweating. From there you wash the apples off. Then there's the shredder. That's me and Marcus, a neighbour. He helps me, I help him. So from the shredder, then it goes into the cider press. That's another picture. That's Tom, my friend. Then when you're applying pressure, then the juice is running, and then it runs out the front into the small white buckets, and then from there, then you put it into the fermentation barrels, and then leave it to ferment right out to dryness. And then when people are sitting down and tasting, they make themselves at home. This chap here, he didn't pay, so I had him wired there, and he's been there ever since. He was one of my really old buyers. Hope I haven't been boring you to tears, and hope you've enjoyed that, and hope to see you and try the cider. And like I said, try before you buy.
All the cows are